The Cloud by Percy by Shelley. This is part second of the presentation. Over earth and ocean, with gentle motion, this pilot is guiding me, lured by the love of the genie that move in the depths of the purple sea, over the rills and the crags and the hills, over the lakes and the plains, wherever he dream under mountain or stream. The spirit he loves remains, and I all the while bask in heaven's blue smile, whilst he is dissolving in rains. Lightning moves over streams, rocks, hills, lakes, and plains. Lightning travels thus in search of his beloved. This beloved is some spirit of the ocean. This beloved may be dreaming under some mountain or somewhere in the depths of water, all the time when lightning moves off in search of his beloved. The cloud enjoys the warmth of the bright blue sky while rain is pouring over the earth. Here again the poet talks about the cloud and lightning in terms of human feelings. The sanguine sunrise, with his meteor eyes and his burning plumes outspread, leaps on the back of my sailing rack when the morning star shines dead, as on the jag of a mountain crag, which an earthquake rocks and swings, an eagle alit one moment may sit in the light of its golden wings. When the sun rises, its color is sanguine or blood red. It is as bright as a shooting star. Therefore it seems to the poet that the sun has meteor eyes. The sun is then compared to a bird whose burning feathers are spread out. In other words, the rays of the sun are very bright and they are spreading in all directions. When the sun rises, the morning star shines dead, that is, ceases to be visible. The newly risen sun jumping on the surface of the cloud is like a bright winged eagle sitting for a moment on the rough edge of a rock, which shakes and trembles on account of an earthquake. And when sunset may breathe from the lit sea beneath, its ardors of rest and of love, and the crimson pall of eve may fall from the depth of heaven above, with wings folded I rest on my airy nest, as still as a brooding dove. At sunset the earth is enveloped by a dark red covering, which descends from the sky. The colors of the sunset fall upon the sea, and the sea is illumined. The sunset brings a message of sleep and love to all things. At this time the cloud also rests motionlessly up in the air just as a dove sits, lost in meditation, in its nest with its wings folded after the day's flying. That orbed maiden with white fire laden, whom mortals call the moon, glides glimmering over my fleece-like floor by the midnight breezes strewn, and wherever the beat of her unseen feet, which only the angels hear, may have broken the woof of my tent's thin roof, the stars peep behind her and peer, and I laugh to see them whirl and flee like a swarm of golden bees. The moon is here personified as a round-faced girl carrying bright silvery light. This girl moves softly over the fleecy surface of the cloud. The cloud is blown about by the midnight breezes, just as fleece may be scattered about by a wind. The feet of the round-faced girl are unseen, while the sound of her footsteps is heard only by angels. At certain places where her feet strike the airy, delicate texture of the cloud, openings or holes are formed in the cloud. Through these openings, stars peep below at earth. As the cloud moves, some stars become visible and some become hidden from view. This creates an impression that the stars are whirling and fleeing. The cloud laughs to see them whirling and fleeing. The bright stars whirling and fleeing are compared to a crowd of bees flying about with their golden wings. When I widen the rent in my wind-built tent till calm the rivers, lakes, and seas, like strips of the sky fallen through me on high, are each paved with the moon and these. Sometimes an opening in the cloud's airy surface becomes bigger. Through this opening in the cloud, we can see a portion of the sky, the stars, and the moon. Through this opening, the moon, the star, and a portion of the sky are reflected in the waters of rivers, lakes, and oceans. It seems that a portion of the sky has fallen into the water below. I bind the sun's throne with a burning zone, and the moon's with a girdle of pearl. The volcanoes are dim, and the stars reel and swim, when the whirlwinds my banner unfurl. The cloud weaves a flaming girdle round the sun. Sometimes a circle of light made by clouds is seen round the sun. This is the girdle which the cloud weaves round the sun. Around the moon, the cloud weaves a girdle of pearl like stars. The cloud hides certain stars and allows certain others to shine. The shining stars seem to make a ring of pearls around the moon. Volcanoes are fiery mountains from whose mouths steam usually keeps coming out. But when the cloud appears in the sky and rain falls, the volcanoes cool down somewhat. The stars seem to be moving round and round all, or whirling quickly. When the whirlwinds blow in circles, it appears as if they were opening out the flag of the cloud. The idea is that the whirlwinds announce the approach of the cloud. From cape to cape with a bridge-like shape, over a torrent sea, sunbeam proof I hang like a roof, the mountains its columns be. The cloud stretches in the sky over the stormy ocean. As it covers the sky over the entire ocean from one coast to the other, it looks like a bridge spanning the sea. The cloud covering the sky is then compared to a roof. A roof is supported by pillars, mountains, which therefore are its pillars. The roof is so thick that the sunbeams cannot pass through it. There are two comparisons in these lines. First, the cloud is regarded as a bridge over the ocean. Second, the cloud is looked upon as a roof over the ocean. The triumphal arch through which I march, with hurricane, fire, and snow, when the powers of the air are chained to my chair, is the million-colored bow. The sphere fire above, its soft colors wove, while the moist earth was laughing below. The cloud is here compared to a victor or conqueror. When a victor returns after his conquests, his capital city is decorated to receive him, and arched gates are put up on the roads. The procession passes under these victory gates, and the victor is accompanied by his comrades in arms. To the victor's chariot are chained the defeated kings and generals against whom the battle was fought. This was the practice in olden times. In the same way, the victorious cloud passes under the multicolored rainbow, which is a kind of victory gate built up in honor of the cloud. As the cloud passes under the strong winds, whom the cloud has defeated, they seem to be the prisoners chained to the chariot of the cloud. The delicate colors of the rainbow were mixed or prepared or woven by sunlight, while the earth, wet with rain, seemed to be laughing below. I am the daughter of earth and water, and the nursling of the sky. I pass through the pores of the ocean and shores. I change, but I cannot die. Earth and water are regarded as the parents of the cloud. Water evaporates from the earth and clouds are formed. Thus, the cloud is the child of earth and water. The cloud which is born below on the earth is brought up above in the sky and is therefore the nursling of the sky. The cloud is formed from the vapors that rise into the sky from oceans. The cloud may change shapes, but it never dies. Rain, hailstones, snow, etc. are the different shapes which the cloud takes. Clouds are changed into water, and water again evaporates, leading to the formation of clouds. For after the rain, when with never a stain, the pavilion of heaven is bare, and the winds and sunbeams with their convex gleams build up the blue dome of air. I silently laugh at my own cenotaph, and out of the caverns of rain, like a child from the womb, like a ghost from the tomb, I arise and unbuild it again. When the rain is over, the sky becomes clear. The semicircular sky does not then have the least trace of a cloud. The sky appears like a huge blue-colored dome. The wind blows and the rays of the sun fill the semicircular sky with light. There is not a speck of the cloud in the sky. It seems that the cloud is dead and that its grave has been made in the sky. But in fact, that grave does not contain the dead body of the cloud. The cloud is not really dead. The cloud inwardly laughs to see its supposed grave in the sky. It laughs because people think it to be dead while it is actually alive. Soon the cloud again comes out of its hiding place. It comes out from the dungeons of rain, just as a child comes out of a mother's womb, or just as a ghost comes out of its grave. By appearing again in the sky, the cloud destroys the grave which had been built over the supposed death of the cloud. The idea is that when the cloud is thought to be dead, it reappears and the sky again becomes overcast. The poem is an outstanding example of Shelley's myth-making power. Shelley had the capacity to imagine the objects of nature as possessing a distinct individuality of their own. For him, the forces of nature were as distinguishable from one another as human beings are to us. Thus, the cloud has in his eyes a separate and independent existence, distinct from the other objects of nature. Thus, the flowers, the leaves, the birds, the pines, the blast, lightning, the sunrise, the sunset, The moon, the stars, the whirlwinds, the earth, and the sky are all given separate and independent lives. Here is a characteristic personification illustrating Shelley's myth-making power. The cloud also shows what has been called the ethereal quality of Shelley's poetry. When we read Shelley's poetry, we feel that it is the poetry of a man living not on earth but in the aerial regions above. The whole of this poem is a picture of the aerial regions above, the formation and movement of the cloud, lightning, the sunrise, the sunset, the moon, the stars, the blue dome of air, etc. It is noteworthy that no human creation whatever is expressed in the poem. Shelley has created a myth in which the world seems to be emptied of human beings. He has given to the cloud an intense and beautiful life which is free from all human sorrows and griefs, even though the actions of the cloud are depicted in human terms. The poem is characterized by exquisite imagery. Shelley loved the indefinite and changeableness in nature. This enabled him to describe better than any other English poet the scenery of the cloud and the sky because the appearance of the cloud and the sky undergoes many changes. The poem contains the sweetest and most liquid harmonies. Indeed, its music is its most delightful quality. Besides, the poem contains a number of lovely figures of speech, similes, and metaphors. The hailstones striking the earth are compared to a flail. The snow on the mountains is regarded as a white pillow for the cloud. The sunrise is depicted as having meteor eyes and burning plumes. The sun riding on the back of the cloud is compared to an eagle sitting for a moment in the light of its golden wings. The stationary cloud is compared to a brooding dove. The moon is figuratively described as an orb maiden with white fire laden. The stars are compared to a swarm of golden bees. The circle round the sun is called a burning zone, and the circle round the moon is called a girdle of pearl. The million-colored rainbow is described as the triumphal arch. The cloud emerges from the caverns of rain like a child from the womb, like a ghost from the tomb. The abundance and originality of these similes and metaphors enhance the beauty of the poem.